Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the Court of the Edijester. Good morning, everybody, and how are we this morning? It is the start of the new Warrior Teacher Program today, and I'm very excited that in about an hour and a half's time, I'm going to get to meet all the new folks properly. If you still want to come and join us, we've got an hour and a half, so let me know quick, all right? No time to mess about. However, we have here some excellent news, as reported by the Times. You can see here a couple of flag-wearing hobgoblins on the screen ready there with the words Labour shelves plans to make gender change easier. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Well, these are going to be furious, absolutely going round the bend when it comes to this particular piece of news, because this was a manifesto pledge to make it easier for gender loons to change their gender, whatever the hell that even is, right? Okay, so you've got it there. Labour shelves plans to make gender change easier. Insiders expect the manifesto pledge to quietly go away, avoiding a fight with Reform or Trump. What a strange thing. But this is a direct result, make no bones about it. This is a direct result of what's happening in America. And I can only hope that we see more. Now, so Labour has mothballed plans to make it easier to legally change gender, the Times has learnt, in a step to counter Reform UK's surge in the polls. Right, I've got a problem with that. Folks, I can imagine your surprise. Is that what it took? Is that true? Is it really? Oh, God, this child-harming, reality-denying, anti-human boondoggle that people are making money off of, bodily harm, and the NHS is actually cutting people's parts off when they don't need to. Is that a problem? No, that's not the reason. What's the reason? Well, Reform UK surged in the polls. Sick. During the election last summer, Labour promised to change the undignified process of gender transition by replacing the panel of doctors and lawyers which approve gender recognition certificates with a registrar system. Now, thank goodness, there was some years ago a programme about a trans person, I think it was in Manchester, and it showed the board in action talking to this individual, and this individual was obviously completely unwell, and the board knew it. So they were obfuscating and preventing anything from happening as hard as they could. I knew this person, you see, so I can't remember their name, and this is very sad, but it may come to me in a minute. So they said it was undignified. I can't see it myself. It shouldn't be available at all in my book. The entire thing needs to go. So it had been criticised by campaigners, this attempt by Labour to bring it in and make it easier, as self-ID by the back door, of course, which is exactly what it was. Letting people change their legal gender too easily. Now, people, a legal gender, don't even know what it is, get rid of it, get it gone. However, multiple sources said that the reforms were not a priority for the ministers. They expect the plans to quietly go away. Now, see? I think this is a great piece of news, and I think we should celebrate it as such. Gender recognition of women's rights have been a point of tension for Labour, but Sir Keir Starmer has strengthened his position on biological sex after previous struggles to define a woman. Hey, Keir, what's a woman? Keir, you all right, mate? On Sunday, Wes Streeting, the health secretary, bemoaned decisions. There's something else he did as well, which is coming up, right? This is the bit. It's interesting. Something else he did is interesting. On Sunday, Wes Streeting, the health secretary, bemoaned decisions taken by the NHS to remove the word woman from medical documents. I mean, they're just tossers. And most of it's being driven from the BMA and LGBT Foundation and nutters in Manchester, by the way, right? He also placed an indefinite ban on puberty blockers for children, which we know happened a few weeks ago and is also tremendous news. One insider pointed to a poll this week that put Reform above Labour for the first time and said it would be catnip for Nigel Farage's party if Labour was to push ahead on gender. Another warned that going ahead would give more ammunition to Elon Musk in his attacks on the government at a time when President Trump is acting to bolster single-sex spaces. You see, people are going, well, Musk's interfering in British politics, but it's not political, it's cultural. Let's get this absolutely straight. And I'm worried about this. I'm worried about it dropping out of culture too soon. This is cultural. It's the difference between right and wrong. We're right, they're wrong. Okay, it's that simple. The whole thing needs to end. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how old you are, it all ends. That's where we're going. A third source, it referenced the fronts on which the government is already defending its position, such as winter fuel payments, the economy, and inheritance tax. I mean, they're just so bad. They're so bad that people who are died in the wool, hardcore Labourites, these people are so bad that people that are that hardcore Labourites get up in the morning and go, oh, oh, every time something dribbles out of the government announcement bum, right? Just amazing. So why would, and the source said, why would we open that particular can of worms for ourselves at this particular moment? It's just absolutely surreal. We've then got a picture there. Great, look at that picture. It's just extraordinary. We make Camden proud. You can see that you've got the vile progress flag there, the design of which is very interesting. If you want to look, see who it was, and the trans flag. See the pink and the blue. And there's Annalise Doddery there. You can see Angela Rayner and Keir Starmer make Camden proud. They look like clowns, which of course is what they are. Dodds is the equality minister, by the way. Look at her. Big grinned fool. Changes promised by Labour, including making it easier to obtain a gender recognition certificate, the document allowing transgender people to have their... There are no such thing as transgender people. Ugh. Ministers also intended to drop the requirement for people to live as their preferred gender for 2 years. Well, they're not living as a preferred gender, are they? They're just dressing up as a woman and pretending, or dressing up as a man and pretending. It is understood that the reforms which were included in Labour's manifesto have not been officially dropped because this would start arguments with parts of the party's voter base. I don't care, right? They're mad at any rate. You don't want them voting for you. They'll take us to all sorts of horrible places. So, there you go. Now, the bad news that comes on the back of this fairly good news, there's Wes, looking kind of dynamic. Right, okay. Separate moves for a transgender inclusive ban on conversion therapy are understood to be going ahead. What for? Start separating it out. I don't want the T and the bloody Q and the plus anywhere near the LGB. We saw that argument. Was it last night with Robin Molded White, whatever his name is, was on GB News having an argument with the bold comedian. Very weird. Okay, so in the first week as president, Trump has signed a flurry of executive orders relating to diversity, equity, inclusion. DEI or EDI, whatever you want to call it, is not savable. It is a cancerous, corrosive idea, including dialing back transgender protections. Well, absolutely right. Ending government programs and banning transgender women and girls from female sports. He didn't ban anyone from being in sport at all. What he said was, if you're a bloke, you play with the blokes. I don't understand why people don't get this. On Monday, Starmer will attempt to counter Farage's party with a series of hard-hitting videos on immigration. The party has also run adverts with reform-style branding and messaging. The adverts do not display Labour's logo and use a similar shade of blue to that used by Farage's party. In other words, in Labour, to shore up their position, are lying through the media. These people don't understand the modern day. That's what I think. They don't understand the modern day. Now, that's enough of that nonsense. Look, there's Nigel. Hello, Nigel. Right, there's another. So sex matters then weighed in the usual stuff, but that's not the interesting bit to me. The interesting bit is something that's hidden in the last few paragraphs. Now, look at this. So, Streeting said at the weekend that the NHS must get back to basics rather than focusing on daft nonsense. Which is exactly what it is. He wrote in The Sun on Sunday, how is it that the value of equality became so distorted that one member of NHS staff tweeting a job ad described part of her practice as anti-whiteness? Now then, Wes, why have you said that? I'll ask you the same. Why has Wes Streeting said anti-whiteness? We had no reason to say that. There is nothing that's pushed him to say that. I think we are seeing people beginning to realise that trans and queer and critical race theory and critical environmentalism and fact studies and queer, all the crap that comes with the critical social justice boondoggle is the same thing. And I think that little shot across the bows there about anti-whiteness from Wes Streeting is an admission that this government knows it. In which case, the fight's just gone up a level. And I suggest that all the organisations that we're currently working with and those that are involved in the GC movement recognise the same thing, and that we take the battle to critical social justice, full stop. But that's just me. You go and have a great day. I'm going to see the new Warrior Teachers, and I couldn't be more excited. So I'm going to leave you to it. Buzz off. Go and do something. Bye-bye.